Giving me an up-close and personal view. And welcome back to the JoAnne Powell Show. I am JoAnne. We are coming to you in the World Center of Broadcast Media, WCOBM.com. And if you are tuning in on the Go Harrison Show, we'd like to welcome you as well. We've been talking about the mistrial that was declared on Monday in the trial involving a former North Charleston police officer who is white, and he was charged with murder of shooting a black unarmed man as a result of a traffic stop. And the mistrial was declared because the jury couldn't come up with a unanimous verdict, so a mistrial had to be declared. Joining me now is NAACP President Beverly Hills, along with being on the board, Ron Hassan. We always enjoy you coming on our show. Last segment, we were talking a little bit about what is happening and can we find justice in these cases. And one of the things that you said that the NAACP is really looking at is dealing with court cases and laws to kind of make things more balanced, because we're seeing that police officers are now being charged with murder in these cases, but we are looking to actually receiving a conviction, whether it's manslaughter or second-degree murder, depending on the circumstances. I think those were the two things that they were dealing with, manslaughter and a second-degree murder involving this particular case. But what are your thoughts regarding the direction we're headed and the work of the NAACP in cases like this?
Certainly. Legislation is important because the legislation that will be developed in the next moving forward will certainly have a significant bearing on how the law itself is presented to the public. The ability of police officers to be able to shoot a unarmed person and say that he or she felt threatened by that person certainly is so loosely defined that it's important that we look at the legislation. Going after the police department themselves and talking to them, there's a police protection league which then works towards protecting police officers, and they are set on ensuring that the laws then protect police officers to the best of their abilities. We as citizens, we as civil rights organization believes that we need to look at some of those laws which govern and allow them to protect the police officers the way they're protected. It appears that they're very loosely defined, and what we perceive, we as citizens perceive, is something that should have a little more teeth in it, that should have a little more direction, that should be able to say to police departments, we feel that the way it is written now, it's working against citizens. So our efforts is to work and lobby with legislative people to then get them to understand and work with us in terms of how do we put some teeth in the law which protects the average citizen.
And I know one thing in this particular case, the prosecutor already plans to retry the case. It'll probably come sometime in the new year, definitely. And there are two other cases. There is a federal civil rights violation case, and there's a civil case. So those cases are probably more likely to be, the outcome might be different, because specifically when it comes to civil rights, not civil rights, but the civil cases, you don't have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So the burden of proof is a little bit lower than it is in a criminal case. So there's a potential outcome would be different in that case.
Yes, there's a possibility. But it's unfortunate that civil cases in many times is the only justice that we get out of this, because basically what that says is, okay, some insurance company, someone is
pay out,
right, and is that the bottom line for a life? This mother and these parents have now lost a son,
right?
and the reward that they get is a civil payout
Right.
for his life and whatnot. Yes, we can call that some form of justice, but is that what we're really believing is the true answer to it? How do we then go about having laws that affect people differently, that change the attitudes of the police department? These parents will have to live with the fact that the police shot their son for the rest of their lives.
And I know one thing, they did release dash cam video, and I was watching that the other day, and it was interesting because he pulls up behind him. There was like a light out. He was driving a car that had an issue with the traffic, the tail light, and that's kind of what came about, this whole scenario where he was actually shot. And
Sure.
there were some issues, whether or not, this normal stop, whether, I guess, the part of the conversation that I heard, he didn't have the registration insurance, so that was kind of like, oh, I'm driving this car, I'm thinking about buying it. Whatever the circumstances, that it shouldn't have resulted in him being killed. That was the thing that I took away from it. Even if he was doing something that wasn't 100% above board or whatever was happening, shouldn't have resulted in him being killed.
Well, I think myself, many people, many civil rights organizations would agree with that. So that then puts us in a situation of trying to understand the whys.
Yes.
Why? What was it that made this police officer feel threatened?
Yeah, because initially when he walked into the car, the conversation was going back and forth very, it didn't seem like there was a threat there at all. But then, of course, he jumps out of the car and runs away, and then that's, you don't see what's happening anymore until you see the video from the guy who had his cell phone.
Yeah, there was some situations where they said the police officer lied.
Yeah.
Where when there's discussions on the taser.
Yes.
And if they fought over the taser, if he had the taser, if he didn't have the taser, there seems to be some discrepancies in that respect. Too many questions unanswered.
Correct.
It will be interesting to see as people dissect this case, for us to be able to understand some of the rationale that had people come to the decision that they did. Yeah. I mean, we live in Southern California. There are certainly numbers of shootings that occur in Southern California that are questionable. But in fact, I believe that the new police commissioner, some of the individuals that are now working with the police department here in Los Angeles, we can't say this is true of all Southern California, but in Los Angeles, are making some steps in the right direction. So does this say that in some respects that we create models or look at best practices from other areas and bring them here and then push them out across the United States in terms of having people understand that there are different ways and approaches that police should take and that communities need to take in order to get their police officers reacting, the police departments to act appropriately?
I think everybody just wants justice to be served and have a feeling that is what's happening. But we've run out of time. Thank you again for being on the show. We always have you. I'm sure we'll be following this case when it comes up again, and then there are other cases as well that are pending and going to happen between now and then, I'm sure.
Well, thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to being back again.
Okay. You're watching the JoAnne Powell Show. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. We will be right back.
If you are an adult that began college and has not finished your college degree, let me put it to you straight. If your lifestyle and your standard of living is not becoming to you, then you should be coming to us. Oakwood University Elite Program. We are the fast, flexible adult degree completion program for the busy adult, like you.
Register today. Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098. It's time to leap.
For years, people have trusted McKay's Family Mortuary. We're part of your community and we'll take care of the details. We offer a variety of memorial services, including sea scattering and cremation. According to the Federal Trade Commission, the average funeral cost is over $9,000. We have complete funeral chapel service starting at only $31.25, casket included. Direct cremation starting at only $9.95. Visit one of our 5 locations and meet our caring and diverse staff. McKay Family Mortuary. Let us be the shoulder to lean on.
Thanks to Oakwood University and the LEAP program, I have now a college degree. So to the Spanish-speaking members of this community who feel that the LEAP program is something you should consider, I would say, ánimo a la universidad. Considere el programa LEAP de Oakwood University.
Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098.
Seize the Day Scuba for your best scuba experience above and below the sea. You'll find friendly staff, experienced PADI certified instructors, and state-of-the-art scuba equipment and gear. Join our dive club and we'll help you plan memorable scuba excursions. Immerse yourself. Seize the Day Scuba, serving Southern California. Call 949-220-0500 to create your scuba experience.
When I first started into the program, yes, I had doubts. I was really impressed with Oakwood University, with the faculty and the staff and the student body. It was a really good experience, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who was thinking about going back and finishing their degree.
Register today. Go to oakwoodleap.com or call 256-726-7098.